Greetings everybody, this is GB the Blue Engine here, and today I want to do something a little bit different from my usual content, and to take a look at some items that I've picked up from the past week and a half or so. And the reason why I wanted to do a video like this was because I went to Ohio over the past week on vacation, and during my trip I amassed a few items. I picked up a few items. I went to a few locations. I went to Entertainment Junction and also a flea market. And as such, and since I've amassed a few items, I figured I would do a little video. This will be unscripted. I'm just kind of going at this raw without a script, just kind of an idea of what I want to say. But I guess let's get started. So first of all, this isn't an item I picked up in Ohio. Let me go ahead and actually focus the camera. But my first item isn't really one I picked up in Ohio. This was actually something I ordered off of eBay. And it came literally the day before I went on vacation. But as you can see, it is a Fred the Orange Coal car. And like I said, I got this one off of eBay. Not really too much to say about it. Not really too much to say about this one. But this was actually an item I didn't own as a kid. I believe when I was growing up, it was only sold through the Sodor gift pack or something like that. It was a Sodor 5-pack with a few engines. I believe Toby was one of them, maybe Oliver. Problem was, this was one of the items included in it. And the problem was that at the time, I already had all the other engines that were in that pack. So I couldn't really convince my mom to buy that entire pack for just this one little coal car. So it's kind of obscure to begin with. But yeah, I saw him on eBay. I think actually it was Thomas Wynn Railway was selling Keygrade 24. Thomas Wynn Railway was selling this one, so I figured why not pick it up. I think it was at a good price. And yeah, now I have a Fred the Orange Coal car. There you go. There's Fred Pelhay. Although this is actually an error because in the original book that Fred was from, it was actually Fred Pelham, but I guess they saw a Y instead of an M, so he became known as Fred Pelhay in the Wynn Railway range. And then under here, he has no name. In fact, I believe that this one is actually from, let's see. Yeah, this one's from 1997. So, and I believe that actually makes this the oldest Wynn Railway item I have technically, which is pretty neat. I think previously a lot of the oldest items I had were Boko and I believe Neil, and they were both released and they were both from 1999. So this being from 1997 makes it a little older than them, which is really neat. It makes it my oldest in my collection, my oldest Wynn Railway item in my collection. So yeah, I think that's pretty neat. Up next, this isn't a Thomas item, but I figured I would mention it. This is I don't know if I can get it on camera. Sega Worldwide Soccer 98. Although this is actually I believe this is actually the case is sort of reproduction, because it has I believe this is the European cover art, but the game itself is an American game. I also have this little postcard from Indiana. Tested it, I made sure it was working. So it's also kind of neat. But I kind of wanted to mention this since, aside for Wynn Railway, probably one of my other biggest collections is retro gaming, and the Sega Saturn has always been a console that's sort of fascinated me, and I actually picked one up pretty recently, earlier this year. And this game I actually saw for only $3 at one of the malls there that had a bunch of old video games and stuff. There's my kitty if you want to see him, by the way. But it was like a mall, like one of the stores there had like a bunch of like old used video games. So I figure, and I saw, and this was actually only $3. And like, I mean, I'm usually not a huge like, I'm usually not like hugely into sports games and stuff. But you know, $3, $3 for a Sega Saturn game, and apparently this one actually is a bit like more than, it actually is a bit more expensive than $3. I think last I checked, like, according to price charting, it was like $20 for a loose copy. So that kind of made it like a really good deal regardless, even if I'm not too into sports games. And yeah, figured I would add it to the collection. Not really too much to say there. I know you're, this being a Thomas channel, probably not too interested in like my retro gaming stuff, but there's that. Alright, and then let's get on to some of the other items I have. So, let's see here. Let me go get this. So this was an item I actually found at a flea market while I was there. This is a Take and Play Spiral Tower Tracks with Percy. And I guess like this was sort of like a little, there was sort of a few variations of this. I can see there's this giant stack right here on the cover, or no, not the cover, like the box art, I guess. And I believe there was also, and I think, yeah, so there was ones with Thomas, Percy, and Diesel, and I obviously have the Percy one. This, and obviously this is a Take and Play item, and I'm not a huge like Take and Play collector, or like really die-cast. Honestly, not really a huge collector of stuff outside of One Railway, but like if I see like a Take and Play item, or like even like Tomy Trackmaster item, and like at a flea market and whatnot, usually I'll try and go for it, and also order all too, for that matter. Since I say that because, well, when I was growing up, like Take and Play was sort of like one of the big three merchandise ranges. Obviously, One Railway was one, then there was Tomy and Trackmaster. So like when I do come across like diecast and Tomy Trackmaster stuff at like flea markets and whatnot, usually I'll end up going for it. But yeah, so I'm going to take this cover piece off. And I actually already did open it, so there we go. And this is actually, I believe this is actually modeled after the, yeah, Solar Rescue Center. It includes this little sticker of Flynn here with the entrance to the Solar Search and Rescue Center. And you can also see like all these little details on this little thing. And what you do with this one is, so it comes with Percy. There's that, and it comes with it's like, I think that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 track pieces there. And what you do is basically there's like all these little notches here in which you place these tracks. So I decided to go ahead and record this a little bit for my phone, and I figured you guys weren't really interested in me doing the whole assembly process, but essentially all the little tracks go around this little red middle part, right, the canister or whatever. There's like these little notches where they go. And what happens now is, take Percy here, and he goes spiraling down, which is it's pretty neat. Not really too much else to say here about that one. It actually kind of reminds me of like the Take Along Morgan's Mine, with how like it spirals, but obviously this is like half the size, I believe. But I found it at the flea market and thought it was pretty neat. I think it was only like $4 actually, so yeah, figured I'd go for it. Again, not a huge Take and Play collector, but you know, if I see it at the flea market for a cheap price, usually I'll go for it, and so I did. You can see it, Percy here. down the spiral one more time. Alright, so with that out of the way, let's take a look at some of the other items that I picked up over the past week. Starting with these toys of Push Along Edward and Push Along Henry. As you see, these are the All Engines Go variants of both these characters. And these I just picked up at Walmart. And I should say that I haven't really been following All Engines Go. I think I might have seen like the first few episodes when they came out. I wasn't really too into them. Not really a huge fan of the reboot in general. But for these Edward and Henry models, I did have an idea for custom using these. Maybe I'll talk about that more in depth later on. But I did like see like a Twitter post related, like back when I was using Twitter. I don't use it anymore. But I saw like a post in which someone used these as sort of like a custom item, and I figured, why not try something like that myself? And at some point, maybe I'll show you the customs I made. Maybe I'll do a video on those. But for now, here's just the All Engines Go Edward and All Engines Go Henry. And like after I saw that Twitter post, I should say that I've been like looking for these at like Walmart and Target here and there, so I could try my own hand at those customs I had an idea for. Problem is, I couldn't really find them anywhere. They just happened to be at that Walmart in Florence, Kentucky. So you know what? Might as well go ahead and pick them up. And yeah, I did. Yeah, that was kind of like part of my vacation. I went down to northern Kentucky. Now it's sort of like where I sort of like grew up in like the sort of like northern parts of Kentucky. So me and my brother went down there for a little bit. But yeah, I found those at that specific Walmart, which is kind of amazing considering I hadn't found them anywhere around Colorado where I currently live. But yeah, so let's go ahead. I'm actually going to go ahead and open these guys up. Do a little unboxing here. Go ahead and this little bottom part. All right. Alright, so there's Edward here, and Edward's tender. And let's do Henry now. I have to get him out of the way. One thing I will say, despite my distaste for All Engines Go, here, let me go ahead and focus that one in. I will say, like, these actually do feel fairly high quality. Like, even compared to, like, the like, Boba era, like, push-along trains, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, like, after Adventures was continued, and they had, like, those, like, Trekmaster push-along trains. Like, I think like those like had like a bit of a reputation for being very, very cheap, very like being very poorly made, pretty poorly made, and in some cases like they didn't like look great. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. But surprisingly, I think these actually feel they feel good. From what I've seen of All Engines Go, they do seem to like match the proportions of the All Engines Go engines. So yeah, I will give Mattel that. These are actually surprisingly well made push-along toys, even if I am not a huge fan of the source material. But yeah, and both of these will be going towards a custom I have an idea for. But you can see they have the names over here. But yeah, there are those All Engines Go versions of Edward Henry. And yeah, they're surprisingly well made. I mean, I think the tender does feel a bit cheap, a bit too light, but the actual engine parts are actually like really. They have a bit of weight to them, which is good. They don't feel like too cheap. They definitely feel very. I can definitely tell they're like made of metal instead of like just like the cheap plastic. So yeah, the tenders are pretty cheaply made, but the actual engines, they feel pretty good. They feel pretty good. Get those out of the way. These last few items are kind of... These last like 5 items or so, these are kind of like the ones I want to talk about most. So if some of you are aware, there's a it's sort of like a model train exhibition, model train museum in Ohio called Entertainment Junction, and supposedly they will be shutting down at the beginning of next year. You know, this was actually kind of one of the biggest reasons I wanted to go to Ohio, so I could, because I actually only been to Entertainment Junction once, so when I was a kid, and once before. I think I was like 9 years old, I want to say. And I'd only gone there once, so I had wanted to like revisit the place. And since me and my brother were going on vacation, and we're trying to decide where to go. I had heard like Entertainment Junction was shutting down at the beginning of next year, so I figured, you know what, let's go to Ohio. And at the very least, like probably like the biggest thing I wanted to go to Ohio for was to sort of visit a second and last and probably final time before they shut down. And while I was there, I decided to pick up a few items. I did actually get a few more than these that were kind of like gifts from my mom. This is like a couple of gift shop items, but these were kind of like the like Wind Railway, or like the main items that I picked out for myself. So first of all, this little red riser here. Not really too much to say about this one. This was pretty cheap. I think it was only like $2, so I figured, what the heck. I probably should have gotten more of these, honestly, but maybe like a couple more so I could like stack them up onto each other, make some interesting layouts. Maybe have like a ascending track go on one level and then make another for a different ascending track. But I guess I admittedly didn't really think about that. I just kind of decided to get this one riser, although I do believe they actually do sell these like in a 6-pack on Amazon, so I might get more of those at some point. This is by Maxim Enterprises, so it's not an official Wind Railway item, but I know like Learning Curve. I don't know if Mattel like carried it over, but I know like Learning Curve made like a similar item to this. And I actually do kind of need more like ascending track pieces in my collection, so I can, obviously so I can build like, inclines and whatnot. So I figure, get this one, try it out, and then maybe down the road get some more. And I also got this little T-switch track. Not really too much to say about this one. This is again from Maxim Enterprises, although there were official Wind Railway track pieces like this one. And really, I didn't have anything like this. I do remember seeing these kind of track pieces like in the Thomas Wind Railway catalog back in the day. And I never actually had like a piece like this myself, so I figured. And these were kind of like being sold individually, so I figured, get one of my own, and maybe do some interesting things with that one. My cat is back, as you can see. But yeah, little T-switch here. Not really too much else to say about that one. And the next item is this little Entertainment Junction train. This was kind of like one I wanted to get as like this little souvenir or memory. I don't plan on taking it out of the box, because I do kind of just want to treat it as like a little souvenir. And, have like a little memory of Entertainment Junction, which, fits with my Wind Railway collecting and whatnot. But yeah, I don't plan on taking it out of the box. It'll just kind of be like on display around my room. But yeah, There it is. And it is a surprisingly nice model, as you can see. Has a little entertainment junction logo there. Reed, Cincinnati, Ohio. Can't really get my camera to focus, but I wonder if I can. Yep, there we go. So I like this just as you can see, like some of the detail. It's not like, you know, a really fine like wooden railway item, but I think like just for us a little display piece and a little souvenir of Entertainment Junction before they go out of business, I figured out to pick it up. It's kind of I came across it. I kind of just came across it there and figured, you know, I wanted to get a souvenir to remember Entertainment Junction by, and you know, this generally fit my whole theme of wooden railway. Sorry about that jump cut. My camera stopped recording. I guess I might be running low on memory on this one, but yeah, I don't really have too much to add right here. Like I said, I'm not gonna take it out of the box. I'm just gonna have it on display, have it as a little souvenir. But I just thought it was a pretty cool item to remember Entertainment Junction by. On top of the things I also got in Entertainment Junction is the 2022 Wooden Railway Toby and Kevin. And I don't know if anyone's heard about this, but supposedly they are discontinuing the Wooden Railway reboot. So right after I filmed this video, it came out that those rumors about Wooden Railway being discontinued were false, and there's actually a couple of new items coming out this year. So I guess as Tom Hat said,
you shouldn't listen to rumors, Thomas.
And I've collected like most of the characters, and these were like the last two that I hadn't picked up, with the exception of I think I haven't picked up any of the Day of the Doubt Thomas ones, or like some of the set exclusive versions of like Thomas and Percy with the Timid Sheds, or like the Thomas one with like the little Trek pack or whatever. But with them like discontinuing Wooden Railway, I figured I might as well go ahead and pick up these last two characters that I have not picked up yet. You can see the box opens like that. And so with these ones, I kind of held off on picking up Toby for the longest time, because admittedly I'm not a huge fan of this model. I do think like Toby's like main body here is a little bit too out of proportion for my liking. Although I do kind of like how the wheels have that sort of like classic design, I guess, to fit in with the side plates. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this Toby. But you know, since I already have all the other characters, I might as well, you know, finish off the collection. But there's also, but I also got Kevin. This one I kind of held off on getting. I'm not really too sure like how to put into words, but admittedly, I'm not a huge fan of Kevin's character, to be honest. And this was kind of just a very odd one, like a very odd character to like have as part of the 2022 line, I should say. As like this was I believe this is like the only like off-rail character that they, I guess this is like the only like road vehicle they made like in the 2022 line. I think like the only like off-rail vehicle they made outside of Bulstrode, who came with the new Cranky and Brendan Docks. This one I am gonna, and for the longest time I only really had the 2009 Kevin, which admittedly isn't too great. It is a bit like too like long and out of proportion. But you know, I wasn't really a huge fan of Kevin to begin with, so I wasn't really too concerned about getting him in the 2022 line. But you know, now that's like the line's discontinued, and I've already collected most of the other characters. I figured, you know, I might as well go ahead and pick him up alongside Toby and have, you know, the full cast of the 2022 engines. This one I am going to open. And so let me go ahead and try and get him out of here. There he is in his little box. Alright, and there he is. He's definitely, like, hold on, let me go and... Yeah, there we go. He definitely feels like a lot smaller than any of the other any of the R2222 Wind Railway characters. But I will say, I definitely like him more than... I definitely like this one more than the 2020, or not 2022, the 2009 Kevin that they've had for all this time. It definitely feels more in proportion to Kevin's like actual like CGI model from the series. I know there is like there are a few other versions of Kevin that came out like between this one and when he first released in 2009, and like those like were definitely more in proportion and more accurate to the CGI model than this. No, more in proportion, more accurate to the CGI model than the 2009 Kevin. And I know like some people like prefer like the 2013 version or so or whatever, but unfortunately I don't have that version of Kevin, or I guess like not really unfortunately, considering I don't really care for him that much to begin with. But I think like this one is quite nice for what it is. Definitely, I don't think that's a pretty unique magnet. I will say that. But yeah. It is still a bit surprising to me that he was the only road vehicle that was released in the 2022 range. Like obviously, I definitely think like someone like Birdie would be like a bit more prominent, or obviously like Harold or even like Terrence, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if at some point they did have like other plans. Although, and now that I think about it, there was that canceled farm set that included Terrence in it. So I guess they at least had plans for Terrence, at least in that set. But obviously that set didn't get released, so we'll never know what came of that. But yeah, it is a bit of a shame to me that the 2022 line is being discontinued. I'm gonna go ahead and open this one as well. Here, let me go ahead and try and get that open. Try and get this one open right here. Alright, let me see our way. I'm stupid. I have kept the boxes for pretty much all the other items, all the other 2022 items that I've collected since the range came out. So there's a little pamphlet there. So unfortunately, my camera ran out of storage right as I was filming that last bit of Toby's unboxing here. And so I figured I might as well go ahead and finish the rest of this video on my phone while I wait for those files to copy over onto my computer. But yeah, let's take one last look at both these items. Like I said, not a huge fan of this version of Toby. I do think like the body is way too slim, and I don't know, kind of prefer like the more like the roof being a detached face of the 2003 or the original Wind Railway Toby, I should say. But I figured I would go ahead and finish off the rest of the characters that I haven't picked up from the 2022 line. If it is true that it is being discontinued, and yeah, complete that little collection there. Don't really have too much else to add. I might do some more of these like sort of unscripted videos in the future. But for now, this is GB the Blue Engine here, signing off, and I hope you have. I'll see you guys, and I hope you have a good day, a good week, a good year, and I'll see you guys next time.